Hi everyone, Sid here back in the bathroom again, ready for a shaving rant. Just a quick FYI, today's video might be a bit scrambled because I'm tired. I've been fighting a cold for a couple days, the worst of which was yesterday, so today isn't going to be that different, and I have zero notes. But before I continue, I'd like to let you know that today's lather will be Pro Razzo Red, which will be supplemented by tea tree oil, patchouli, and jasmine, and the aftershave will be Pro Razzo Blue. So, I'd like to start this video with an homage to the high quality of friends I have, and I'll get into why I'm starting with this in a moment because it is linked to today's topic. You know you have high quality friends when through discussion with them and just debating or discussing various issues, they kind of force you, or they kind of get you to remember nuances in your own position that you had forgotten. And before getting into today's topic, I want to illustrate the the first time that happened to me. I was having supper with some friends of mine, and one of them, the woman, they were a boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, she was studying law, and we had discussed things like philosophy and anarchism and libertarianism and all that stuff before, but that evening I felt like trying to go Mark Stevens on her ass. So basically I asked her, let's call her Mary. So I said, hey Mary, and honestly, it took a bit of discussion to get to that question because the way Canadian law works, there's like the criminal code, the penal code, and all these nuances that I'm not really familiar with, and really they don't matter without evidence that they apply in the first place. But let me just go to the question. I just wanted to give a nod that there are some nuances that I'm just putting aside for now. So I say, hey Mary, when you have someone who's going to court for a code violation, is applicability of the code an element of the crime? And her answer was, well, yeah, but it applies. And I immediately asked her, how would you prove that in court? And within a very short time, we were talking about, anarchism and, Mad Max type motorcycle gangs running wild in the streets and that kind of thing. And through that discussion, they reminded me that I'm not an anarchist, that I'm actually an autarchist. And I use the word anarchist because no one knows what autarchist means, and I'd rather use the negative connotations of a word people understand than to have to define the term every time I use it. And I don't really feel like getting into it. I'm going to put a link to Autarchism under this video, and I will come back with the actual topic of today's video. I think this is the thickest beard I've had at the beginning of a shave on this channel so far. But I digress. So, the other day, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I posted an image on Facebook, which was some cops, in their full army gear and whatever, and they were all like riding this APC, or basically a tank, to carry personnel into whatever the fuck they feel they need to protect themselves for, which is basically everything. And the text, it was kind of like a meme type picture, and the text accompanying this image was, but without the government, warlords would take over. And I posted that image on Facebook, and I remember a friend of mine, I forget what exactly his comment was, but it was something along the lines of, we replace one type of warring gang with another, same diff. And then I fulfilled part of my desires with this channel, which was to link to one of my videos as a response. And I basically linked to the human nature in the Somali Pirates video, and I linked it to the part where I'm talking about how anyone who's been ever stolen from by a Somali pirate was born in the past, and how this is one example of how Somali pirates are better than governments. I'll be right back. So, upon reading this, another one of my friends wrote this really great comment, which goes along the lines of how he doesn't see any significant difference between, because just to remind you my position in general, actually, which is that of all the government evils, national deficit is the one that angers me the most, because you're stealing from the unborn. And he basically said that he sees no significant difference between stealing from someone who isn't born, or threatening the parents of this person, that when, as soon as your child is old enough to hold a shovel, you're going to send him to me and he's going to work in my mines or whatever. And it really got me thinking. Now, the most obvious point, which I think is kind of secondary given how interesting this train of thought is that this African warlord or whatever who's threatening the parents to hand over their child to him as soon as their child is old enough to hold a shovel, he's aggressing against the parents. He's not aggressing against the child. But that's kind of a moot point when compared to the overall principle of the thing, which is what's the difference between stealing money from someone who is not born yet versus stealing their labor from age 6 for the rest of their lives or whatever. I'll be right back. So basically, after you posted that comment, I spent the next, I guess, hour or so mulling over the principle that he was bringing forth, and I got reminded of something. And this is a point that Stefan Molyneux makes in his book on UPB, or Universally Preferable Behaviour. Basically, in that book, which is a book on ethics, he makes the difference between ethics and aesthetics. So, just without going into the details of the book, an example of something that's ethical would be, it is universally preferable to not steal from people. And an example of something that's aesthetic would be, it's universally preferable to arrive on time when you set an appointment with someone. It sucks when someone's late, but that doesn't warrant throwing them in jail or anything. And when thinking about that, I realized that I see no significant moral difference between stealing from someone who's unborn, or stealing from someone who's a fully grown adult, or stealing from an elderly person or whatever. So, to illustrate this point, I'm gonna give some examples of aggressions. And for those of you who paid attention to this channel, you'll realize that sometimes when I'm setting up examples, I like to swim against the current of how can I say this, social prejudice. But today I will swim downstream. I'm gonna woo and just ride the current of social prejudice. So in every example I'm about to give of aggression, the aggressor is always a man. Let's make him an adult. maybe a bit bigger than me or whatever, feel free to throw in the tattoos and hairstyle of your choosing. So, basically, if a man slaps Andre the Giant, that is an immoral act, but, and again we come back to that fundamental question in philosophy, compared to what? It is absolutely an immoral act for a man to slap Andre the Giant, but if you compare it to slapping a woman, or slapping a child, or kicking a midget or whatever, these are all immoral actions, and from a moral basis they're all equally evil. However, from an aesthetical standpoint, it's clearly better. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's clearly not as bad looking for a man to slap Andre the Giant in the face than to punt kick a child or a midget or whatever. I think that is kind of obvious, and I don't need to go into much detail, which means that basically I still hold my position that of all government evils, national deficit is the one that makes me the most angry. However, I'm really thankful to this friend of mine for reminding me of a nuance in my own position, which is that the difference between taxation and national deficit is a difference of aesthetics, really. Because me, at least I have to work before like a third to half of my paycheck is gone before it even reaches my bank account. Whereas someone who isn't even born yet, well, it says they're not even born. So I thought that was a really interesting nuance that I wanted to throw out there. So that's about it for today. Please feel free to like and comment, leave any comments below this video right here. And you can please subscribe to me on YouTube. Share this with your friends if you think this is interesting. And as always, I'm at SidRockMTL on Twitter, and my Tumblr, sidrock.tumblr.com. So you'll find links to all of these under this video, plus some links to some things I talked about in this video. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you soon. You take care.